But I do think back to that Jerry Bayton. That really, he was everything that I needed to give me the confidence to do this thing that I was such a different world than what I was used to. And he always was positive with me. He always was telling me, girl, you got this, you got this. And he just had a way that helped me just relax and go, I'm going to own it all. I'm going to do it. So when it
worked.
Yeah, it did. And he introduced me to so many people and was so willing to do that. And he was going through a hell of a time.
Yeah, and for the listeners out there, I'm sure everybody who's listening to this podcast when it eventually is released sometime this fall/winter, hopefully not
soon.
Spring.
Couple weeks.
But Jerry Bayton, you obviously probably know who he is, but he was one of Kansas City's, the music scene is one of the most popular people. And, I knew him for about a decade or so, but became close with him toward the end because he let me come to his loft and do photo shoots there and stuff. And while we're just hanging out waiting for the people to show up, we'd just be talking. He'd tell me old stories back in the day. And he made everybody feel like that. He made everybody feel like they were his best friend. He had and then obviously he was the drummer of Superstar Mafia, who evidently clandestinely recruited Deann to be one of the singers, to be the female singer for the band. Yeah. So that's who we're talking about. But you probably already know that if you're listening to this. But.
Right.
We're a band that Jerry Bayton started 7 years ago. And unfortunately, he passed away a year and a half in from, his battle of cancer. And we collectively, right after that funeral, had to decide, what are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean...
Do we want to keep doing this or what? And so we all said, to pay homage to Jerry, we're going to do this. And he let, and we did. And it took off, and we're still doing it. And it's like...
well, my understanding was that he not only gave you his blessing, but he encouraged you. I mean, I heard that this conversation took, keep doing it.
We were in the hospital room, and we all had this conversation with him.
My goodness.
And he wanted us to he said, keep doing it. And he said, take all the equipment, do it all. And he said, and just, do it for me. And so
in the Deann movie, that's definitely a scene. That's going to be a chapter in that movie, for sure. Wow.
Yeah. I imagine hearing that there was some doubt, and I don't know what was going to happen, but then I heard that he encouraged you to do it, and then I kind of knew, if he gave his blessing and encouraged, they're going to keep doing it.
He did. And then I remember I was still working for the healthcare company, and so I was out in Rhode Island, and I was at a restaurant with clients, and they said, hey, can we take a quick call? We got the band. And so we got everybody on the line. And Michael Small, our keyboardist, said, hey, we have to make some decisions here. Does everybody want to keep doing this? Jerry gave us our blessing. What do we want to do? And I was the first one. I said, I think we're idiots if we don't. And I think we will always regret if we don't. And I said, let's give it a year. Let's see how it goes. And if it just doesn't work out, we can say we did it at least. And then here we are 5 years later. So
5 years. Wait, 4 years. Yeah, 4 years.
4 years. Sorry, 4 years later.
2019.
That's right.
Yeah, it's. We could talk about Jerry for hours, and then those last couple months, and it just, it always felt. And I remember your bass player Skip Godley, even commented this. I think he either posted it and. It was still even after he passed, it was sort of you just expected, because he went through these waves where it looked like, oh no, he's going to go. Oh, he's back.
Right.
That happened. It felt like that happened 2 or 3 times. And did you ever meet Jerry Bayton?
No.
You may have crossed paths with him because he was part of the music scene in the 90s. If you ever went to see shows, Symmetrics was a band he was in. He was always, fantastic drummer and fireman. And he developed multiple myeloma, which is a very serious form of cancer. But he went through these phases where he's going to go. This is it, everybody. And then he'd be right back. And Skip even commented, I just expected him to be right back up and just chattering away because he's a very, And so when he finally went, it was just one of those moments.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. We played Yazoo for the first time. We got asked to do that in June of 2019. And we were all ready to go. April think it was April or maybe March, he came down with pneumonia from.
Boy.
So
bad.
basically, he ended up getting pneumonia, was vented in the hospital at KU in May of 2019. We're supposed to play in June. So from January up until this time, Scotty McBee and Troy Schuster and several different drummers have just stepped in. I mean,
Gladly.
these guys just,
Right.
So, believe it or not, Jerry gets off the vent and he says, "We have 2 weeks. I will be there. I will drum." And we're all like thinking, this is not going to happen because he's still in the hospital bed, like barely talking with, like he has, and he's gone down to, I don't know what.
He lost a lot of weight.
So, we're sitting here thinking, there's no way this guy's going to get through this. But we had Scotty McBee as backup. So we get all set up at Jadzoo. He's on the side of the stage. Scotty is on the side of the stage watching. Jerry goes up. We start the show. He played 2 solid hours.
Wow.
And Scotty never had to come up.
Dang.
And he was gone in August.
My goodness.
So there's a great picture.
Huh.
So that was him with his girlfriend Marcy.
Yeah, Marcy.
My goodness.
In the edit, I will overlay the photo. But yeah, so that was that night.
Well, it's great that
and
you guys get to talk about him, bring him back from in the universe.